Get on your knees! Now! Richard Caldwell's voice exploded through the ballroom. His hand gripped the waitress's shoulder, pushing down hard. I said kneel, you ignorant... He shoved harder. Do you people not understand English? The black waitress stumbled. Champagne pooled around his Italian shoes. Sir, please, I apologize. Shut up. Richard snapped his fingers in her face. You work for me. 50,000 I paid tonight. You're nothing. His wife Charlotte stepped closer, pouring her own champagne onto the woman's uniform. Oops. Clean that too. Laughter erupted from their circle. 200 guests watched. Phones recorded everything. Richard placed his shoe near her hand. Shine them while you're down there. The waitress's nameplate read, Dr. Simone Laurent. Nobody looked. Have you ever watched someone destroy everything without knowing it? 48 hours earlier, Dr. Simone Laurent sat in her corner office on the 20th floor of Century City Medical Tower. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the Los Angeles skyline. The late afternoon sun painted the glass buildings gold. Her desk held 3 things: a surgical textbook, a cold cup of coffee, and a manila folder marked Sterling Foundation Confidential. Simone opened the folder. Her assistant had flagged 12 complaints from former Sterling employees, all people of color, all claiming discrimination, all signed NDAs and paid to disappear. She picked up her phone and dialed. Marcus, it's Dr. Laurent. I need 5 waitstaff uniforms by Thursday. The Beverly Hills event. She paused, listening. Yes, I'm going by myself. Standard protocol. For 15 years, Simone had run the Laurent Medical Foundation this way. Anonymous investigations, undercover assessments, organizations applying for grants never knew she was watching. The ones who failed her character test never got $1. The Sterling Foundation wanted $15 million for youth education programs. Richard Caldwell's signature sprawled across every page of the application. His face smiled from the foundation website, arm around underprivileged children. Perfect PR photography. But the complaints told different stories. Simone closed the folder and stood. Her white coat hung on the door. She'd worn it through 12-hour surgeries, through medical school rotations where professors doubted her, through residency where patients asked for the real doctor. She'd also worn waitstaff uniforms, all through Harvard undergrad, through medical school. Her father had been a janitor. Her mother cleaned houses. Simone knew what it meant to be invisible. Thursday night arrived cold and clear. The Beverly Hills Grand Ballroom rose like a palace of marble and gold. Valets in red jackets rushed to open car doors. Women in designer gowns swept through the entrance. Men in custom tuxedos laughed and shook hands. Simone entered through the service entrance at the back. The hallway smelled of industrial cleaner and fresh bread from the kitchen. She wore a simple black server's uniform, hair pulled back, minimal makeup. A small body camera was pinned inside her collar, perfectly legal under California's single-party consent law. The device was already recording. Inside the ballroom, crystal chandeliers hung like frozen waterfalls. Round tables draped in white linen filled the space. Each centerpiece cost more than most people's monthly rent. The air buzzed with wealth and self-importance. Simone counted 200 guests, CEOs, politicians, celebrities, old money families whose names appeared on museum wings and hospital pavilions. She recognized a city councilman, a federal judge, the district attorney, Monica Reeves, in a midnight blue gown. She picked up a champagne tray and began circulating. For 90 minutes, she watched. Richard Caldwell held court near the center of the room. 60 years old, silver hair perfectly styled, a tan that screamed private yacht. His laugh boomed across conversations. His hand rested possessively on his wife's lower back. Charlotte Caldwell was 28, blonde, surgically enhanced. Her diamond necklace caught the light with every breath. She spoke in that particular tone wealthy women use with service staff. Not quite rude, just dismissive enough to establish hierarchy. Their son Trevor circulated nearby. 32, same entitled swagger as his father. He'd inherited the family business and the family prejudice. Simone observed their interactions carefully. A Latino busboy approached to clear glasses. Richard didn't look at him, just waved him away like shooing a fly. The busboy's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. A black musician from the string quartet asked about the restroom location. Charlotte pointed without making eye contact, then turned to her friend and whispered something. Both women giggled. Trevor refused a business card from an Asian investor, claiming his hands were full. They weren't. Simone's body camera captured everything. She also noticed James Patterson, a security guard stationed near the entrance. Mid-40s, black, former military bearing. Their eyes met briefly. Something flickered in his expression. Recognition? She couldn't be sure. The head chef, Antoine Wilson, supervised the kitchen staff through the service window. Another black face in a sea of white wealth. He caught Simone's eye and nodded slightly. An acknowledgement. A silent understanding between two people who knew what it meant to work in spaces like this. The orchestra played Vivaldi. Guests sipped champagne that cost $300 per bottle. Richard Caldwell stepped toward the microphone to announce his mayoral campaign. Simone positioned herself near his table. She was ready. Everything that happened next, she would document with scientific precision. The orchestra finished its piece. Applause rippled through the ballroom. Richard Caldwell raised his champagne glass, basking in the attention. Simone moved through the crowd with her tray. 12 crystal flutes balanced perfectly. She'd done this job 1,000 times in college. Muscle memory kept her hands steady. Charlotte Caldwell turned sharply, laughing at something a friend said. Her elbow connected with Simone's tray. Hard. The tray tilted. Champagne arced through the air in golden streams. It splashed across Richard's shoes, his pants cuffs, pooling on the pristine marble floor. The room seemed to inhale all at once. Richard's face transformed. His smile vanished. His eyes went cold and narrow. The muscle in his jaw twitched. What the hell? His voice started low. Dangerous. What kind of incompetent help did they hire? Simone set down the tray carefully. She pulled a clean napkin from her apron. Sir, I sincerely apologize. Please let me... You sincerely apologize. Richard's voice climbed louder. Heads turned throughout the ballroom. You just ruined $1,500 shoes and you think sorry covers it? Charlotte stepped back, one hand over her mouth, but her eyes gleamed with something that wasn't shock. It was anticipation. Sir, it was an accident. Simone kept her voice level, professional. I take full responsibility. I'll clean this immediately. An accident. Richard laughed. The sound held no humor. That's what you people always say. Always making excuses. The words "you people" hung in the air like smoke. Conversations around them died. A woman in a red dress froze with her fork halfway to her mouth. A man set down his wine glass carefully, as if any sudden movement might shatter something. What ghetto did they pull you from? Richard stepped closer. His cologne was expensive and overwhelming. Can't even carry a tray without screwing up. Simone's body camera captured his face. Every sneer, every contemptuous expression. I apologize again, sir. If you'll allow me to get proper cleaning supplies, get on your knees! The command cracked through the ballroom like a gunshot. Simone looked up at him. Sir? You heard me. Richard's finger pointed at the floor, at the puddle of champagne, at his stained shoes. Get on your knees and clean this mess up properly. Show some respect for where you are. A gasp came from somewhere to the left. An older woman clutched her pearls, literally. Mr. Caldwell, I'll be happy to clean this, but nothing. He snapped his fingers. Once. twice. The sound is sharp as slaps. Do you people not understand basic commands? Or do I need to speak slower? Trevor Caldwell pushed through the crowd. He wore the same expensive suit as his father, the same cruel smile. Problem, Dad? This woman seems to think she's too good to do her job. Typical. Trevor circled around Simone like a shark. They always have an attitude. Think the world owes them something. Charlotte joined them, forming a triangle around Simone. She sipped her champagne, watching over the rim of her glass. Richard, darling, she's probably never been to an event like this before. Doesn't understand how things work. The words cut deeper than shouting would have. Simone stood perfectly still. Her heart rate stayed steady. Years of surgical training had taught her to remain calm when everyone else panicked. She was aware of the live stream camera mounted on the far wall. The red light blinked steadily. I understand perfectly, ma'am. Simone met Charlotte's eyes. I'm here to serve guests professionally. I'll clean this properly with appropriate materials. You'll clean it now. Richard's hand shot out. He gripped Simone's shoulder. His fingers dug in hard enough to bruise. On your knees. I'm not asking again. He pushed down, his strength and weight behind it. Simone's knees bent, not from weakness, from calculation. She lowered herself slowly, maintaining eye contact with the live stream camera. Every second documented, every witness recorded. The marble floor was cold and hard beneath her knees. Richard's satisfied smirk spread across his face. He looked around the ballroom, making sure everyone watched. Sometimes you need to remind people about standards, about respect, about knowing their place. He lifted his foot, placed it near Simone's hand, close enough that the champagne on his shoe dripped onto her fingers. Shine them while you're down there. Someone in the crowd made a strangled sound, disgust or shock or both. But no one moved. No one spoke up. 200 people watched in silence. James Patterson, the security guard, took a step forward. His hand went to his radio, but then his supervisor shot him a warning glare. James froze, jaw clenched so tight the muscles stood out. Rebecca Brooks, a journalist from the Society pages, had her phone out. Recording. Her face was carefully neutral, but her fingers white-knuckled around the device. District Attorney Monica Reeves stood 20 feet away. Her champagne glass paused halfway to her lips. Her legal mind clearly working through what she was witnessing. But she didn't intervene. Not yet. Richard addressed the crowd like he was giving a speech. His voice carried across the silent ballroom. This is what's wrong with our society. Entitled people thinking they deserve positions they haven't earned. Thinking they don't need to work their way up like the rest of us. He gestured broadly, performing now. I built my empire with hard work. Discipline. Not handouts. Not diversity quotas. Actual merit. Charlotte nodded along. She should be grateful for the opportunity to work at an event like this. To learn from successful people. Trevor circulated through the nearby guests, playing to the crowd. Dad's just keeping it real. Teaching life lessons. Someone has to. A few people laughed. Nervous, uncomfortable laughter. Others looked away. Some edged toward the exits. But most stayed. Watching. Silent witnesses. Simone remained kneeling. She counted the seconds. 15. 20. 30. Her body camera recorded Richard's face above her. The contempt. The satisfaction. The casual cruelty of someone who'd never faced consequences. 45 seconds on her knees. Richard finally waved his hand dismissively. Get out of my sight. You're fired. Don't expect payment either. You're lucky I don't sue you for property damage. Simone rose slowly, gracefully. She picked up the serving tray. Her uniform was wet with champagne. Her knees ached from the hard marble. Send someone qualified next time, Richard called after her, his voice dripping with disdain. Someone who actually knows how to serve properly. Someone who understands their role. The crowd parted as Simone walked toward the service exit. Every step is measured. Every movement was controlled. She could feel 200 pairs of eyes on her back. Behind her, Richard returned to his champagne and his conversation, already forgetting her, already moving on. The event coordinator rushed over, a thin woman with panic in her eyes. "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. Mr. Caldwell insisted." "It's not your fault." Simone's voice remained steady. "He wants you to leave immediately. I'll make sure you're paid for your time." "That won't be necessary." Simone reached the service hallway. The door swung shut behind her, muffling the orchestra music and the buzz of conversation. She took 3 steps toward the exit. Trevor Caldwell blocked her path. He wasn't smiling anymore. His face held something harder, meaner. "Not so fast." Simone stopped. "Excuse me? What's in your pockets?" Trevor's arms crossed over his chest. "Empty them." "I'm sorry? You heard me?" He stepped closer. Too close. Invading her space deliberately. "Empty your pockets. Show me what's in that apron. Can't be too careful with thieves." The word landed like a slap. "I haven't taken anything." Simone kept her voice level. "I'd like to leave now." "You'll leave when I say you can leave." Trevor pulled out his phone. "Dad, back here!" Richard's footsteps echoed down the marble hallway. Charlotte followed, heels clicking. Both still held champagne glasses. Richard's eyes lit up when he saw the scene, like he'd found a new game to play. "What's wrong, son?" "She's trying to leave. I think we should check her pockets first. You know how these people are." Richard nodded slowly, a snake evaluating prey. "Good thinking. These types always steal. It's in their nature." He raised his voice. "Security! I need security back here now!" 3 guards appeared, James Patterson among them, face carefully blank. "This woman needs to be searched before she leaves," Richard announced. "I have reason to believe she's stolen property." Simone looked directly at James. Their eyes met. She saw the conflict there, the disgust with what he was witnessing, but also the fear, the knowledge that speaking up meant losing his job. "Sir," James said carefully, Maybe you should do your job," Richard cut him off. "Or you can join her in the unemployment line." James's jaw tightened, but he stayed silent. Trevor stepped forward and grabbed Simone's small server purse. His hand yanked the strap hard. "Let's see what we have here." "You have no legal authority to search my belongings." Simone's voice stayed calm. "This is assault." "Assault?" Trevor laughed. He pulled harder. The strap cut into Simone's shoulder. "This is private property. We have every right." Richard moved closer. His breath smelled of champagne and arrogance. "You're on my property. At my event. I make the rules here." Charlotte circled behind Simone, blocking retreat. Her diamond bracelet clinked. "Just let them look, unless you're hiding something." "I have nothing to hide, but this is illegal." "Illegal?" Richard's laugh boomed. "You want to talk illegal? You assaulted me with that champagne, destroyed my $1,500 shoes. That's assault and battery." Trevor dumped the purse contents onto a service table, items scattered across white linen. A phone, driver's license, lip balm, keys. A card holder with embossed lettering. Trevor pawed through everything. He grabbed the card holder, flipped it open without really looking. Business cards spilled out, cream-colored, professional. Dr. Simone Laurent, MD, printed in elegant script. Trevor glanced at one card, tossed it back. His brain didn't register what his eyes saw. Nothing but junk. Richard spotted Simone's phone. The screen glowed. A recording app showed time counting. "Is that camera on? Are you recording me?" I have the legal right. Delete it. Richard snatched the phone. Delete that footage now. I'm not required to do that. Delete it or I smash this phone. Richard's fingers tightened around the device. His knuckles went white. That's destruction of property. I'll show you destruction. Richard's free hand grabbed Simone's wrist. He twisted. Pain shot up her arm. Bones ground together. Give me the passcode. James Patterson shifted. His hand moved toward his radio. Sir, maybe we should... Stay out of this. Richard's face flushed red. A vein pulsed in his temple. You work for me, Patterson. Stand down or you're fired. James's hand dropped. His jaw clenched tight. You're assaulting me in front of witnesses. Simone's voice strained with pain. This is documented. Documented by who? Charlotte pulled out her phone, started recording Simone. I see a hostile employee threatening my husband. Exactly. Trevor filmed, too. We're documenting your aggressive behavior. Richard twisted harder. The passcode, now! Or I break your arm and claim self-defense. Let go of me. Rebecca Brooks appeared at the hallway entrance. Her journalist instincts had pulled her back. She held her phone up, recording. Her face was pale but determined. Get her out, Richard barked at security. A guard moved toward Rebecca. Ma'am, private area. This is a crime scene. I'm press. You want to assault a journalist? The guard stopped. Richard released Simone's wrist with a shove. She stumbled against the wall. Red marks bloomed on her skin, finger-shaped bruises forming. Fine. Keep your phone. Richard's smile turned vicious. We don't need it. He reached into his jacket. Simone met her eyes. Do you know yours? Charlotte's smile faltered. Then she laughed. My place? I'm married to a billionaire. I'm standing. You're sitting, waiting for the police. We both know our places. Richard paced. Phone out. Call after call. Judge Morrison? Richard Caldwell? I have a situation. Need a favor. Another call. Captain Barnes? My officers are coming. Need this handled, right? Simone watched him pull strings, build walls of corruption and privilege. Trevor posted on social media. Fingers flying. Caught a thief at our charity gala. This is why we need better background checks. Within minutes, hundreds of likes. Comments poured in, most supportive. District Attorney Monica Reeves appeared, her legal mind cataloging violations. Richard, what's happening? Monica, this woman stole from my event, assaulted me when confronted. Monica looked at Simone, at the wrist marks, at scattered belongings, at the convenient fork. I see. You witnessed the champagne incident, Charlotte added. You saw how aggressive she was. I saw champagne spilled. Monica's voice stayed neutral. I'll wait for the police, too. Richard beamed, the DA on his side. Or so he thought. Sirens wailed, growing louder. 2 patrol cars arrived. Officers Daniels and Kwan entered. Daniels looked tired, skeptical. Kwan's sharp eyes took in everything. Mr. Caldwell? Daniels asked. Officers, thank you. Richard extended his hand. I'm Richard Caldwell, Caldwell Properties. I'm sure you've heard... What's the situation? Richard's smile tightened. This woman stole from my event. Silver fork, $500. When confronted, she became violent, destroyed property, assaulted me. He pointed at Simone. Full charges, theft, assault, battery. I want her arrested now. Kwan examined the table. His eyes lingered on the business cards. He said nothing. Daniels turned to Simone. Stand up, ma'am. Simone stood, slowly, controlled. Officer, I'm happy to cooperate, but everything he said is false. Of course she says that. Trevor stepped forward. They always lie. Sir, step back. Kwan's hand rose. We'll get everyone's statement. Nothing to investigate, Richard insisted. Multiple witnesses, evidence right there. Just arrest her. Daniels touched Simone's arm. Official. You're detained for investigation. I understand. But officer, you should know something first. Don't let her manipulate you, Richard interrupted. These people say anything. Sir, let her speak. Kwan's voice sharpened. Simone met Kwan's eyes. I didn't steal anything. That fork was planted. He took it from his pocket. My body camera recorded everything. Richard laughed, sharp and loud. Body camera? A waitress with a body camera? Ridiculous! The camera is pinned inside my collar, recording since I arrived. Everything uploaded to cloud storage. The assault, illegal search, planted evidence, all documented. Daniels frowned. You're required to disclose the recording. Single-party consent law applies. I'm the party. I consented. Completely legal. I can provide footage right now. Richard's face changed. First crack in confidence. She's bluffing. I'm not bluffing. Simone looked at Kwan. Before this escalates, officer, verify my identity. Thoroughly. Run my license through your database. What does identity have to do? Trevor started. Everything. Kwan pulled out his tablet. License? Simone gestured. There. California driver's license. Kwan picked it up, scanned, tapped his tablet, waited for database loading. His expression changed. Subtle, but definite. What is it? Daniels looked at the screen. Sir, there's additional information. Multiple professional credentials. Richard waved dismissively. I don't care if she's employee of the month somewhere. She stole from me. He dialed the speaker. Gerald? Richard Caldwell. Need you at the Grand Ballroom. Prosecuting theft and assault. Need my lawyer. Charlotte touched his arm. Richard, maybe let her go. No. This is about principle. Standards. Respect. He turned to the gathered crowd. Event staff. Guests. Rebecca is still recording. This is what happens when we lower the bar. Prioritize diversity over merit. Some people need to earn their place, not have it handed to them. I built my empire with hard work. Discipline. Not handouts. Not quotas. Merit. And I won't stand by while someone disrespects that. Simone watched him dig deeper. Every word another shovel of dirt. Quan looked up from his tablet. Professional mask in place. Ma'am, spell your full legal name for the record. Dr. Simone Angeline Laurent. Laurent. The word doctor hung in the air. Richard's eyes narrowed. Doctor of what? Fast food? Quan didn't smile. Sir, Dr. Laurent is a board-certified neurosurgeon, Johns Hopkins Medical School, Harvard undergraduate, multiple active medical licenses. Silence. Richard's smirk froze. His mouth opened, closed. Nothing came out. Neurosurgeon? Trevor's voice cracked. That's impossible. She's a waitress. Officer Daniels leaned over Quan's tablet. His eyes scanned. His expression shifted from skeptical to stunned. Johns Hopkins, Harvard Medical School, board certifications in neurosurgery and critical care. He looked at Simone. Really looked. Ma'am, I apologize. How could you know? Simone's voice stayed level. That was the point. Quan scrolled. There's more. Board chair of the Laurent Medical Foundation. $800 million endowment. Rebecca Brooks stepped forward, phone still recording. The Laurent Foundation? The Medical Research and Scholarship Organization? Simone nodded once. You're that Dr. Laurent? You saved Congressman Miller's daughter. Emergency surgery. It was all over the news. The hallway crowd swelled. More guests pushed through, phones out, recording, whispering. Richard's face went white, sheet pale. You were investigating? That's entrapment. You set me up. No, Mr. Caldwell. Simone's voice cut sharp and clear. I gave you every opportunity to treat another human with basic dignity. You chose contempt. Every second was your choice. Charlotte backed away. Her champagne glass trembled. Richard, what is she talking about? Your foundation applied for a $15 million grant from my organization. We investigate all applicants, standard practice, anonymous cultural assessments. Richard loosened his tie. His hand shook. That's illegal. Completely legal. District Attorney Monica Reeves stepped forward, authority in her voice. And I witnessed everything, Mr. Caldwell. Simone continued. Your foundation received 12 complaints from former employees, all people of color, all claiming discrimination, all signed NDAs and paid to disappear. I needed to see if the complaints were valid. She gestured to her collar camera. You showed me, in crystal clarity. Trevor grabbed Richard's arm. Dad, stop. Wait for the lawyer. But Richard couldn't stop. That footage could be edited. Deepfake, not admissible. Monica pulled out her phone. Properly authenticated video is absolutely admissible. I witnessed it live. I'll testify. Officer Quan spoke. Dr. Laurent, can we see the footage? Simone reached for her belongings, pulled out a laptop from the bag Trevor had dismissed. She opened it. Keystrokes, cloud storage loaded, multiple video files, time-stamped, encrypted. She turned the screen toward the officers, pressed play, crystal clear footage, Charlotte bumping the tray, Richard's rage, his demands, the kneeling, his shoe near Simone's hand, every humiliating second. Then the hallway, Trevor's illegal search, Richard twisting Simone's wrist, the planted fork, Richard pulling it from his own pocket, placing it deliberately, No ambiguity, pure evidence. Richard watched himself commit crime after crime. His skin went green. Real-time upload to encrypted servers. Simone's voice stayed professional. Time-stamped, geotagged, blockchain verified, impossible to alter. Rebecca checked her phone. Dr. Laurent, this gala was live-streamed. 2,000 live viewers. The clip is viral. 75,000 views. Still climbing. Trevor grabbed his phone. His face drained white. Dad, she's right. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Richard snatched the phone. His hands shook. He watched himself. His own words. Get on your knees. You people. Hundreds of comments. Thousands. Furious. No! Richard shouted. Delete it. Take it down. Too late. Rebecca's voice was flat. News networks are picking it up. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, top trending story. James Patterson finally spoke. Mr. Caldwell, I tried to warn you. Richard spun. Warn me about what? I recognize Dr. Laurent. She operated on my daughter 2 years ago. Brain tumor. Saved her life. Pro bono. A woman pushed through the crowd. Dr. Laurent funded my nephew's scholarship. $200,000. Chef Antoine appeared. She donated our culinary school renovation. $500,000. More voices. More people. She paid for my mother's surgery. She funded our community clinic. She saved my son. Richard backed against the wall, trapped, surrounded. Your $15 million grant? Simone's voice cut through. Denied, permanently. I'm contacting the 12 other foundations you're soliciting. They'll receive my full report with video evidence. You can't. I absolutely can. Monica Reeves turned to the officers. Arrest Richard Caldwell. Assault and battery. False imprisonment. Filing false police report. Evidence tampering. Civil rights violations. Daniels pulled out handcuffs. Mr. Caldwell, turn around. You can't arrest me. I own half this city. I have the mayor on speed dial. I know exactly who you are. Daniels approached. And now 2 million people know who you really are. Richard backed away. I'll have your badge. My lawyers will destroy you. Your lawyers will be busy. I'm filing federal civil rights charges. Simone collected her belongings calmly. Mrs. Caldwell, you're being detained. Quan turned to Charlotte. You participated in harassment. Charlotte's glass shattered on marble. I didn't do anything. You poured champagne on Dr. Laurent. That's assault. Mr. Caldwell Jr., you're detained too. Quan blocked Trevor's retreat. Illegal search, battery, false imprisonment, defamation. Daniels reached for Richard's wrists. Turn around. Richard jerked away. This isn't over. I always win. Not this time. Simone's voice was quiet but carried. The handcuffs clicked shut. Cold metal. The sound echoed. James Patterson stepped forward. I'll escort them. Through the main entrance, Monica added. Past all the guests. Past all the cameras. Richard's face crumpled. No. The back exit. Please. You wanted everyone to know their place. Simone tucked away her cards. Now everyone will know yours. James led Richard toward the ballroom. Charlotte stumbled behind in heels, cuffed. Trevor followed, head down. The crowd parted. 200 people watching. Camera flashes exploded. Phones held high. Richard's last words. This isn't over. Simone's quiet response. Yes, it is. The LAPD West Bureau booking room smelled of disinfectant and stale coffee. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Richard Caldwell stood against the height measurement wall. His tuxedo wrinkled. His bow tie hung loose. The camera flashed. His mugshot captured everything. face pale, eyes wide with disbelief, mouth set in angry denial. Charlotte's photo came next. Mascara streaked down her cheeks, diamond necklace confiscated. She looked smaller, diminished. Trevor stared at the floor, refused to look at the camera. The officer told him 3 times to lift his chin. Richard demanded his phone call. "I need my lawyer, my judge friends, the police chief. This is unlawful detention." The booking officer didn't look up. "You'll get your call. Wait your turn." "Do you know who I am?" "Yes, sir. We all know now." She gestured to a TV in the corner. CNN played on mute. Richard's face filled the screen. The chyron read, "Billionaire arrested after viral racist abuse video." Richard went white. Charlotte broke down in the holding cell. Her sobs echoed off concrete. "Richard, what have you done? Our reputation, our friends, everything." Trevor scrolled through social media. His hands shook. "Dad, it's everywhere." Within 1 hour, Billionaire kneeling trended worldwide. The video hit 2 million views, then 3 million. The number kept climbing, news headlines everywhere. Billionaire forces doctor to kneel. Neurosurgeon humiliated by mogul. Hidden camera captures shocking racism. Cable news ran split screens. Richard's booking photo. Dr. Laurent's professional headshot. Harvard. Johns Hopkins. 800 million foundation. Awards, lives saved. Lives. The contrast was devastating. Caldwell Properties stock dropped 8% at opening. Trading halted twice for volatility. Investors dumped shares. The board called emergency meetings. By noon, 3 major investors demanded Richard's removal. By close of business, the entire board voted. Richard Caldwell was suspended as CEO. Trevor was placed on administrative leave. His nameplate was removed. Keycard deactivated. Security escorted him out. The company spokesperson read a statement. Her voice shook. "Caldwell Properties does not condone discrimination. We are conducting a full investigation." Reporters shouted questions. She fled inside. 15 employees came forward with stories. A black accountant described years of being passed over. A Latina property manager explained pressure to reject minority applicants. An Asian IT specialist shared emails where Richard used slurs. A law firm announced a class action lawsuit. 23 former employees joined immediately. Richard's lawyer, Gerald Whitman, finally arrived. Expensive suit. Expensive briefcase. He looked exhausted. "Richard, don't say anything, not one word. Get me out of here. Bail hearing tomorrow, 500,000 each. That's pocket change, I'll pay now." It's symbolic. They're making a point, and federal prosecutors are reviewing hate crime charges. Charlotte made bail within 3 hours. Her family's money. She returned to their Bel Air mansion. Gates surrounded by news vans, reporters shouting, cameras flashing. Inside, her phone buzzed constantly. Her book club removed her. Her charity board requested resignation. The country club suspended her membership. 4 friends blocked her number. She poured wine with shaking hands, then threw the glass against the wall. Richard refused to post bail immediately. Pride. Stubbornness. "I won't give them satisfaction." He spent the night in county lockup. The cell smelled of sweat. His cellmate recognized him from TV, laughed. "You're that dude who made the doctor kneel. Man, you're stupid." Richard didn't sleep. He stared at the concrete ceiling. This wasn't supposed to happen to people like him. Morning came. His lawyer convinced him to post bail. The perp walk was worse than going in. 100 cameras, 1,000 shouted questions. Richard kept his head down. His face told everything. A man whose world collapsed in 24 hours. Dr. Simone Laurent held a press conference that afternoon. Her foundation office, professional, composed. She wore a white coat, stethoscope around her neck. This isn't about revenge. It's about accountability and systemic change. I'm announcing a $50 million fund for discrimination victims, free legal support through my foundation's Civil Rights Division. She took no questions about Richard, refused to gloat, maintained dignity throughout. The contrast made Richard look worse. That night, Richard's publicist posted an apology. 2 a.m. timing. Cowardly. I sincerely apologize for my behavior. I was under stress. This doesn't reflect who I am. The internet destroyed it instantly. Stress made you racist? This is exactly who you are. We watched you for 45 minutes. The apology never mentioned Dr. Laurent by name or title, just the individual involved. Twitter exploded. He can't even say her name. Still disrespecting her. This isn't an apology. By morning, Richard had lost everything. Reputation, company, social standing, freedom hanging by a thread. The legal consequences were just beginning. 1 week after the arrest, FBI agents arrived at Caldwell Properties headquarters. They carried boxes, warrants, hard drives for evidence collection. Employees watched through glass walls as federal investigators photographed documents and seized computers. The FBI opened a civil rights investigation. 15 years of business practices under scrutiny. Housing discrimination. Statistical patterns of rejecting minority tenants while accepting white applicants with identical credentials. The Department of Justice joined. They found government contracts won through falsified diversity initiatives. Fake minority-owned subcontractors, photoshopped images of diverse teams, lies on federal forms. The IRS audited the Sterling Foundation. Charitable deductions that weren't charitable. Money funneled to Richard's personal accounts. Tax fraud. Inside the company, silent employees finally spoke. An IT specialist provided internal emails, coded phrases like cultural fit and neighborhood preservation that meant no black renters. Richard's digital trail was extensive and damning. The criminal trial was set for 6 weeks out. People versus Richard Caldwell. Assault, battery, false imprisonment, civil rights violations, filing false police reports, evidence tampering. District Attorney Monica Reeves announced she would personally prosecute. This case represents everything wrong with unchecked power. We will seek maximum penalties. Richard hired Whitman and Associates. $2,000 per hour. Defense strategy. Claim misunderstanding, heat of moment, not racially motivated. But finding character witnesses proved impossible. Richard's friends disappeared. Phone calls unreturned. People who'd smiled at his galas now claimed they barely knew him. Pre-trial depositions leaked. Richard's answers made everything worse. I built this city. I deserve respect. She was just a waitress that night. His lawyer begged for remorse. Richard refused. I won't apologize for having standards. Charlotte filed for divorce in week 3. Her lawyer advised cutting ties, protecting assets. She also agreed to cooperate with prosecutors. Immunity for testimony. She provided texts, recordings, 5 years of Richard's racist dinner party remarks. Trevor negotiated a plea deal. His lawyer was realistic. You're facing 3 felonies. Take the deal. Trevor agreed to testify against his father. Reduced charges. Probation instead of prison. Community service. The son who turned on his father. The trial began Monday morning. Department 104, Clara Shortridge Foltz Criminal Justice Center. The courtroom was packed. Court TV broadcasting live. Judge Maria Santos presided. 60 years old. No nonsense. This is not a media circus. This is a court of law. Opening statements painted 2 pictures. The prosecution showed the body camera footage. 45 minutes of humiliation. The kneeling, the planted evidence. Crystal clear. Richard Caldwell didn't just commit crimes, Monica Reeves told the jury. He revealed who he is, A man who believes wealth and skin color place him above the law, above basic human decency. Defense attorney Gerald Whitman tried damage control. My client made mistakes. He was stressed. This was one bad night, not a pattern. The jury's faces showed they weren't buying it. Laurent testified first. Navy suit, professional, composed. She answered questions clearly, precisely. Why did you kneel when he ordered you? Because I knew the camera was recording. Allowing him to reveal his character would provide undeniable evidence. Cross-examination tried painting her as a provocateur. You intentionally placed yourself there. I investigated a grant applicant. Standard practice. Mr. Caldwell's actions were entirely his choice. They couldn't shake her. Too prepared. Too credible. 8 former employees testified. Each added weight. A black executive passed over 11 times. A Latino property manager was pressured to reject minority applications. An Asian accountant called degrading names for 3 years. Mr. Caldwell would review applications. When he saw ethnic names, he'd say, "Find a reason to reject this." Every time. The pattern was undeniable. 15 years of systematic discrimination. Charlotte took the stand on day 4. She'd lost weight. Clothes hung loose. She looked older, tired, scared. She testified against Richard. Private dinners where he joked about keeping neighborhoods white. Text messages celebrating blocked affordable housing. Voice memos strategizing about maintaining property values by excluding minorities. Defense tried discrediting her. You're bitter about the divorce. I'm ashamed I stayed silent for so long. The prosecution presented the body camera footage 3 times. Each time, jurors' faces showed disgust. They presented internal emails, statistical analysis showing discrimination patterns, expert testimony from housing economists, recorded phone calls of Richard influencing judges. The defense called Richard to the stand. Desperate move. Gerald Whitman tried controlling the narrative. Richard couldn't help himself. Do you regret your actions? I regret that it was filmed. Silence in the courtroom. Even his lawyer looked sick. You regret being filmed? Not the actions? I regret how it looks. Monica Reeves's cross-examination was surgical. Mr. Caldwell, you said you people. What did you mean? Service workers. Not black people. No. But you only used that phrase addressing Dr. Laurent, a black woman, never to white servers that night. Richard had no answer. You demanded she kneel. Why? She was disrespectful. She apologized multiple times. How was that disrespectful? Her tone. Describe this disrespectful tone. Richard couldn't. He floundered, made excuses, contradicted himself. The more he talked, the worse it became. Closing arguments were devastating. Richard Caldwell believed his money made him immune, believed his skin color gave him the right to humiliate others. He was wrong. Defense tried. One bad night shouldn't destroy a life. But the jury had seen 15 years of bad nights. They deliberated for 4 hours. Quick. On the charge of assault, how do you find? Guilty. Battery? Guilty. False imprisonment? Guilty. Each verdict hit like a hammer. Richard's face went gray. All 6 charges. Complete conviction. Sentencing came 1 week later. Judge Santos allowed victim impact statements. Dr. Laurent spoke. This isn't about me. I have resources to fight back. This is about every person of color who experiences this daily with no recourse. 12 former employees spoke about destroyed careers, mental health impacts, financial devastation. James Patterson spoke. I watched evil happen and almost stayed silent. This verdict tells me speaking up matters. Judge Santos's statement was firm. Mr. Caldwell, you used wealth and power to dehumanize others. You showed no remorse. You attempted to corrupt justice. Your actions were habitual, calculated, and cruel. The sentence: 3 years federal prison, 5 years probation after release, $500,000 fine to Dr. Laurent, $2 million to the Civil Rights Fund, 1,000 hours of community service, mandatory bias training, public apology required, restitution to 23 employees, $5.7 million total. Richard stood. This is a travesty. You're remanded immediately. Bailiff. Officers approached. Richard's hands cuffed, led out screaming about injustice, about corruption. Nobody believed him. The civil lawsuit followed. Dr. Laurent sued for $15 million. Emotional distress, civil rights violations. The jury awarded everything. She donated it all. Scholarships for students of color. The class action suit settled. $47 million. Caldwell Properties was forced into federal monitoring for 10 years. The company eventually sold. Richard lost control completely. His empire crumbled. His legacy was destroyed. Justice was served, complete and total. 6 months later, Richard Caldwell sat in federal minimum security prison in Lompoc, California. The facility housed white-collar criminals, tax evaders, fraud convicts, and one former billionaire. Richard wore standard-issue orange, no custom Italian suits. He'd lost 20 pounds. His silver hair had gone gray. Deep lines carved his face. Other inmates knew who he was. Everyone had seen the video. His privilege didn't protect him here. Guards treated him like everyone else. No special favors. He worked in the prison kitchen, serving food, cleaning tables, washing dishes. For the first time in his life, Richard Caldwell served others. His appeals were denied at every level. The evidence was too clear. The body camera footage too damning. Multiple witnesses are too credible. He'd lost $1.2 billion. Business value evaporated. Legal fees consumed millions. Settlements drained accounts. His empire sold piece by piece. Charlotte divorced him, took her settlement and moved to Europe. She funded a women's shelter anonymously. Attempting amends, she never spoke to Richard again. Trevor completed probation and community service. He worked for nonprofit housing now, helping families find affordable homes. He spoke at schools about privilege and prejudice. His redemption path was long, but he was walking it. Dr. Simone Laurent's foundation grew to $1.2 billion. Donations flooded in after the story broke. People wanted to support her mission, her courage, her dignified pursuit of justice. She launched the Undercover Justice Initiative. Investigators tested organizations for discrimination before awarding grants. 47 organizations investigated. 12 lost funding for discriminatory practices. Simone continued her medical practice, still performed surgeries, still saved lives, especially for underserved communities. She hadn't changed. The world's perception had changed. She guest lectured at universities. Power, dignity, and strategic justice. Standing room only at every event. Students hung on every word. She published a memoir. Kneeling Up became an instant bestseller. All proceeds went to civil rights organizations. The book told her story and the stories of countless others who faced daily humiliation. The societal impact rippled outward. 15 states passed laws protecting service workers from abuse. Body cameras became standard for philanthropic investigators. The Caldwell case was cited in 67 discrimination lawsuits. Corporate America took notice. Genuine bias training replaced checkbox exercises. Fear of becoming the next Caldwell motivated real change. Harvard Business School created a case study. The Caldwell Collapse: How Bigotry Destroys Value. The hashtag Billionaire. Kneeling evolved into the Dignity for All movement. Service workers shared stories, 10,000 testimonials and counting. The restaurant industry adopted customer behavior standards. The right to refuse service expanded to workers refusing abuse. James Patterson got promoted. He started a training program, Ethical Security in Unjust Moments, teaching guards to intervene when witnessing discrimination. His daughter, whose life Simone saved, graduated college. She became a civil rights lawyer. The grand ballroom incident was taught worldwide. Sociology classes, ethics courses, business schools. The video had 200 million views globally. Simone became Time Person of the Year. The Doctor Who Wouldn't Kneel. An annual Laurent Award was established for individuals who fight injustice creatively. The Caldwell name became synonymous with karmic justice. He pulled a Caldwell, entered common language. 1 year after the incident, Simone sat for an interview. The journalist asked about that night. "I didn't kneel because I was weak," Simone said. Her voice is calm, certain. "I knelt because I knew the camera was watching. I understood his cruelty would expose itself if I gave him rope." She leaned forward. "This was never about me winning. It's about every person who can't fight back getting hope, getting proof that justice is possible. Dignity cannot be taken, only temporarily obscured. Truth eventually restores it. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. If we document injustice clearly, if we stand as witnesses, if we refuse to stay silent." Dr. Laurent's story proved that power isn't about position. It's about principle. Every day, people face humiliation simply for existing, while black, brown, or different. Some can fight back, others can't. But we can all be witnesses. If you see injustice, document it. Share it. Don't stay silent. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button right now. We share real stories of justice every single week. Stories where the underdog wins, where truth defeats power, where dignity overcomes cruelty. Click the bell icon so you never miss an upload. These stories matter. They remind us that accountability is possible. Drop a comment below. Have you ever witnessed discrimination? What did you do? Did you intervene? Did you stay silent? Share your story. Share this video. Send it to someone who needs to remember that power doesn't always win. That one person with courage and evidence can change everything. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut now. Turn on notifications. Join this community fighting for dignity and justice. When you see someone being humiliated in public, at a restaurant, a store, an event, what will you do? Will you intervene? Will you record? Or will you look away? Your choice in that moment defines whether you're part of the solution or part of the system that protects people like Richard Caldwell. Which side of history will you stand on when that moment comes? Because it will come. And someone vulnerable will be watching to see if anyone like Dr. Laurent or like you is in the room.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.